All right, it's time. It's now or never. So let me bring you where we're at. Oh yeah. You can stand? Sure not. All right. Well, here it is. Here's what we got. So here's the back, all figured out, and then the front turned out really nice. So all we did to finish this up since the last time is I just let it alone overnight. Just left it as it was, and came back today, and just what happens, especially whenever you try to use any kind of a solvent like that, is it tends to swell the grain of the wood a little bit. So you want to knock that back down. I just went over real light with 220, and I'm just looking, making sure I got any kind of marks out of it. There's a little sanding mark there, but I'm just not going to look at it. You know, it's not going to come out easy. Just leave it alone. Then I just wiped back over it again, just with that that denatured alcohol. Since that's what we thinned the dye in, I just rubbed it over it and just kind of blended it back together one more time. Let it dry real good, and then we're gonna let this just ride as it is. It's a little blotchy, but whatever, it's fine. And well, I want to get this going. So as you can see, we've got this this surrogate neck. You know, this really handy sturdy piece of poplar that's already split, and you know, she's held in with the finest drywall screws that I had laying here in a cup. So what I was gonna do was, you know, get her up here swinging where I could get a nice clear on it. But you know, you got to try to rig it up, and you know, rigger especially. You know, I just get burned out on riggering, you know, just with the day job. So we're not going to try that because it wasn't going to work. It was just going to it would have been doing a dance, and you know, I'm not very good at that. I did that enough at my wedding for the rest of my life. So what we are going to do is, the reason this neck is screwed on there so securely is we're actually going to do the back first, then we're going to flip it, clamp it down to the table, and then we'll finish the rest of it out here hanging in space. Okay, so what am I doing for clear coat? I'm using Laquer, and this is why I was so adamant about having to get Minwax, is because I've used this before a lot, and it works really good. It dries really quick, like dries now, and it is a nitrocellulose lacquer, which is what you want for something like this, and it just makes your projects look good. But you need to have something underneath of it, so that it doesn't create any kind of any issues with what's underneath your top coat there. So it is a brushing lacquer. We are going to brush it on for the first couple coats. I know from previous experience you got to do at least 3 or 3,000, somewhere in that, you know, in that range. We're going to try to settle for, you know, 5 tops and see what happens. With lacquer, you don't sand between, but I have an aerosol of spray lacquer, and we're going to spray the final coat or two just to make sure there's no brush strokes or anything. But really, this stuff goes on easy enough that it's not that big of a deal. And I like using it. So big thing you got to watch is if you just try to, you know, go get one of your higher quality Harbor Freight brushes here, you know, and use this with the lacquer, you'll get a little bit into it, and then you'll start laying down bristles on here like it's a road. You'll start paving it, and next thing you know, it'll be bad. So you know, it would have been entertaining. You know, you have the thing up here swinging on the clothesline, and then you know, next thing you know, we'll have bristles all stuck in it, because that lacquer will actually eat the plastic bristles. So we're just gonna put that back in its holster for future use, and we're gonna go with, you know, even finer quality brush here, mainly because I don't want to clean them. and those ones are pretty cheap. So let's get this thing all opened up here. All right, now, really cool thing too about lacquer is it's not going to color your finish at all. Let me show you this. This is a brand new can. It looks empty. That's how clear this finish is going to be. So that's why it really tends to make the grain come out, and it just looks good. So I guess I'm just going to quit talking, and then we're just gonna go for it, see what happens. You don't want to go on too thick, and I'm shedding bristles already, so we're off to just a grand start. But that's alright. Now you're probably going to want to do this just like I am in a non-ventilated, enclosed area, because this has got those fumes, and it lets you know you're working with good stuff, really. You know, if it smells like it's just going to give you just, you know, dragon breath, or, you know, make you feel like you're gonna breathe a Scotch bonnet back up, then that's exactly what you want to have for a finish. That's how you know it's going to be good. Ooh, stand right over it. It's like an onion. It will get you going. Get your nose juices flowing. So there's the back. And it's really soaking it in. So I don't want to go too heavy. I just want to make it where it's wet the whole way. Let that set a second. Now for the flip. So get you set up so you can see the whole process here. Probably laid right in it. Oh well. Gives you a nice long handle. It's like a pizza paddle. We'll get that out of here. Flip it over. Just get it where we got enough room to get up in here and work still. And we're going to make sure that we hold this down with a really nice light duty C-clamp here. Clamp it up. Come on now, swing around. Do it the right way, genius. That'll give you a workout. That's easier to do with a smaller one. Why will you not go underneath? There it is. Alright. So, we're going to use this nice light duty C-clamp. By light duty, I mean it's probably the largest one I have. And that's fine for this, really. Mainly because it has the depth there to really get this in there. This is where another set of hands would really be helpful. Torque it down and just click. Okay. It's good. All right. So we'll bring it over here. So you can get a good close look at what we got going on. So this is where you're going to see for the first time, along with me, what this is going to look like. Now, here we go. So I'm doing the top first, and then I'm going to do the sides. It's got that little shimmy shake going on. And you're going to want to make sure you really soak it down into this neck cavity here, so when I try to pull that board out of there, it's totally stuck. You know, you want to just try to add as many steps that are as necessary as possible to make this happen. But yeah, my original plan was to rig this all up from the ceiling, and I was going to get my hand in here into this control cavity here and try to, you know, direct it around, and that was just, I mean, If you ever heard about a story about a monkey and a football, maybe it was with a light bulb or something like that. That's kind of how it probably would have ended up. And I mean, it'd be fine really, but this is nice. This is better. So you can see it's actually pulling a little bit of the finish off of there, so I got to be careful I don't tint my whole quart of lacquer blue. Though I do like blue. Now we're going to just get it up in around in here. This is where spraying would be a lot easier, but I don't want to spray lacquer inside right now. Man, that grain is really soaking it in. Make sure you get everything, all the edges. Now, this is also occurring to me too that I'm about 47% sure that's probably a tomato steak. So I'm definitely going to get. I'm going to pay for that one once. Well, I'll hide it. She'll never know. She'll never find out. Did get the stamp of approval from the lady last night, though. The art lady. She said I did good with a gradient, she called it. All these fancy art terms. Alright, so. Coat 1. Done. Probably won't show you guys all the rest of them. It's kind of just rinse and repeat. I'm definitely going to bring you back when we the final coat or two on the top there, but I think that's going to look really good. I usually don't go for the gloss, the high gloss on anything really. I don't. Shiny things bother me because then it shows when it's messed up, and you know it just gets me down. So we're gonna leave it at that. You ever get through a project and you think, man, that's gonna look like something, and then it turns out that it looks like something possessed? Well, that didn't happen. As luck would have it. Hey, look at this thing. I got to be honest with you. I've surprised myself. I mean, the back's not perfect. There's a couple little dots of some issues, but I mean, I guess the front isn't perfect either. But I mean, I'm pretty impressed. I mean, there's more shine on this thing than a bald guy's head in the middle of summer running a marathon. I mean, she's right up there with my Suburban. I mean, this has got my wife's car beat for sure. I mean, I gotta say, I'm actually really impressed and pretty kind of surprised with myself with how well this turned out for this kind of a finish. I mean, it is not perfect. I mean, do not get me wrong. It is by no means what one might call showroom quality, but I mean, I'm not upset with that. All it was 3 coats of brushing lacquer by hand, 2 coats of the same thing sprayed. Probably could have gone with less of the brushing. That's probably where any of my little bubbles and stuff like that, or my little issues came from. But to really get that grain sealed up and get a good base for it, I don't think there's a substitute for brushing something on where you can kind of, I mean, look at that thing even in the light. I'm really, really surprised. I don't like gloss. I don't like shine. Shine scares me. Shine means it's too nice for me to have. So you gotta, you know, gotta say I've kind of surprised. I mean, even for using flat paint on the sides there, you can see how well it shined up pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty happy with it for doing it myself for the first time and not ever really using a dye before. I mean, this obviously there's some pits and stuff and some blown out grain in this this maple in here. It's not even the nicest to begin with, but that finish came out nice. And like I said before, this is usually the point in a project where I just, you know, it just goes bad fast. But you know, I guess I had a little luck on my side for this one. You know, I mean, maybe it was the fact that finally I actually have more than, you know, 2 paths to navigate around in here. You know, we got a big project in and done, but you know, now we got this thing, and I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with the way that came out. Pretty excited. So I think what we're going to do now is I'm going to take you guys through putting on some of the hardware and stuff like that. Probably chop it up a little bit throughout, but you know, we're going to see how some things are going to set in here, how they're going to work, and then the biggest thing is going to be getting the neck on and getting the neck straight, because the neck I have is not drilled. So so we're going to have to get that set up and figured out. But I you know, I got to say, the lacquer really brought the shine. You know, it got it on there pretty good. It looks cool. You know, like I said, it's not perfect, but you know, it's good enough for the girls I go out with. And well, that's only one, but you know, I think it turned out pretty neat. So we're gonna move on forward, see how it goes. We're gonna start off with the bridge here, since I need to get the neck lined up with this. So however this gets oriented, you know, I got a little bit of maneuvering, but that's what's we're gonna use the sides of the bridge here to line the neck up as much as we can. It's nothing special, just a, you know, old style with brass compensated saddles. We did go with the name brand pickup in the middle there. Definitely not new. Definitely a score off of eBay, but it's one of those. It's a quarter pound Seymour Duncan. So you know, at least we went with the quality electrics in it, and that's really about the only place we spent any money on any of this. But you know, like I said, she was used, so the price was right. I did drill this side part here beforehand. Just got to see if we can get these wires to go through. Hopefully I don't have to ream them out with a drill bit at all. And we're going to get lucky on that one. So let me set that down. Let me grab a little hook. Instead of reaching into it with my fingers, I'll bring it up. Oh. And she'll just sit right on down. We got our holes in there. That's good. Actually, I probably ought to ream them out. Just clean all the lacquer out of them, because I want it to bite in the wood, not in the lacquer. Now I didn't go with a, I did go with a bridge that if I wanted to, I could have the strings go through the back. I just figured that was an extra step that really is just going to make it, you know, one more thing to do. So I decided against that. We just went right with this here. You know, we got a special occasion. I better go get my dress screwdriver, my going to town screwdrivers. Yeah. Only for a good occasion do you grab the strap-ons off the old rape wagon. And you grab the wrong size because you're an idiot. Yeah, it's not every day you have an occasion where you get to break out your dress screwdrivers. You know, the ones for the clean work. Now I'm going to get them all down to where nothing's pulling it any which way and try to get her as square as possible. Yeah, they're all digging in good. That's what we want. I guess if I wanted to, use a little power, get them going. Not too much, Joe. My luck, I'll wind up torquing them down, stripping something out or breaking something off, you know, because that's how it usually goes, right? See, I got a little bit of wiggle room, but those heads of the screws aren't down all the way. So I'm going to start with the outer two, which are pretty much the two holes I use to line up the whole thing. Screwdriver really doesn't fit in there that great. Rattle and buzz and whatever. I act like I'm actually good at playing. I mean, I'm really not that good at this. I just think it's the project of building guitars and amps and stuff is kind of cool. It's kind of fun. It's like a practical sort of project you can use and tinker with and spend a lot less money because it's less expensive. All right. So we got those two, or that figured out there. Pretty happy with how that's going to go. Now the neck. Didn't build the neck. I'd like to do one at some point, but I just didn't. I didn't have the confidence really to build this, let alone neck with a truss rod and all that stuff. So, well, we went to the old friend on the Evil Bay there, and well, we got one. Yeah. I will say though, it's really nice. And, you know, I'm sure they're just plastic, but it's the abalone inlays, and it's, you know, it's a bound neck, which I think I had the plan to bind the body, but you know, I'm not upset with how that's going to look, to be honest with you. I think that's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, I really think that's going to be pretty cool. Make sure my heights are right. Before I get this to where that's where it's going to live and start lining things up, because I got some wiggle room here, just a little bit, which is okay. I want to go ahead and take just a couple extra measurements, since this is where it's going to be. Make sure that, you know, the scale length is right and everything's level, and this pocket is deep enough here and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll come back after all that's all been taken care of. So I've got to make 2 straight lines, and I'm sure somewhere someone's going to laugh at me because I'm sure there's a tool for this and a way to do this or whatever, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to do on the camera to get it where you can see what I'm even working on. It's probably going to fall over. All right, so I know that this is straight along this edge of metal here. Okay. You know, you can see why I'm not good with shiny stuff, because I just take a piece of metal and put it on here. But I want this to be buttered right up against here on this side, like that. It's that good blue tape, so we have the blue theme as always. And I happen to have another one. The way I figure is, if I measure from the edge of the straight edge to the neck at varying points, I should have it straight, or in line with the bridge. Again, I'm sure there's a better way to do this. I'm sure I could, do the jazz hands routine on the internet and find a better way to do it, or a tool or something, or do like normal people do and just buy one of these. But we're doing it this way. All right, let's have a look here. Something to measure with. Something to measure with would be helpful. Oh, I had it right here. Let's see if this is even going to work. If I go here, what do I have? About 3/4. Shade under. So pushing it all around. You know what? I'm going to have to clamp it down. So I'm sure this is the wrong way to do this, but it ought to work. So as we figured, need to make some adjustment down here, and it's not by much, but it's enough. So I'm going to work on this a little bit in here and see if we can't bring that whole thing down a little bit. This tripod sucks. So what I wound up doing was just getting the bridge loosened to try to get a very small amount of adjustment out of that. I'm probably splitting hairs here, but I got to give myself every chance of being good, so. So what we're going to do is I'm going to mark and drill these top two, because I got them where it's lined up right at that edge there. I got to do it by feel, and the clamp gets in the way and actually cants this a little bit, which is, again, I don't probably have the right clamp. I'm a glorified construction worker here. I'm not, you know, I'm an overly educated construction worker. This isn't how this is supposed to probably happen. But we're going to rigor through it. So let me just clean this out in here one more time, and we're gonna drill and fasten these two. And that should be able to give us a little bit of a pivot point if we have to give it the old shimmy shake, twist around a couple times. I think most of what happened is there's a big bubble of lacquer down here in the bottom that I think is just in the way, because if I do say so myself, I actually routed it pretty straight.